Hello, Candida Warriors. It's Lori Seeley, functional medicine health coach, and I'm here today to talk to you about something that I actually posted in this week's blog, uh, 8 tips for better sleep. So I feel like this is a really important topic for us, and I feel like I sort of maybe fell off of this kind of topic in here a little bit. Seems a little more general, but it's not. Sleep is so important, especially when you're fighting something like Candida. You know, normally, normally getting not enough sleep for a couple nights isn't going to be a problem, but when it becomes chronic, then you have chronically raised cortisol, which I bet is something that maybe hadn't occurred to you before, right? So the chronically raised cortisol actually also raises your blood sugar, which is not good if you're trying to fight Candida, right? Because that's feeding the Candida, which is exactly what we don't want to do. So I want to encourage you guys to always, always, always try to get a good night's sleep. And I have some really good tips for that, okay? So first thing, most importantly, you need to allow ample time for sleep. So that means at least 7 hours every single night. And if you're actively fighting Candida, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 7 hours isn't quite enough, and you need at least 8 or even 9. But I would say no less than 8, okay? But that's, you know, your body and everything, but I recommend getting 7 hours at the bare minimum, okay? So what you can do to make this happen, what I've been actually doing lately is, try setting a go to bed alarm. So I do this. I have an alarm on my phone that's set at 9 p.m. and it goes off every single night at 9 p.m. And there are some nights when I'm like out or something at 9 p.m. And so, whatever, and the alarm goes off and I'm in the middle of like having drinks with my friends and it's kind of funny. But when I was actively fighting Candida, of course I wasn't drinking. So I noticed that I mentioned that. Yeah, no drinking while you're fighting Candida. But anyway, when you're home, sometimes it's you kind of, you're doing stuff and you're in the middle of something, and it really helps to have an alarm that says, okay, stop what you're doing. Now is the time to start to wind it down and get yourself ready to sleep. So that's why I have that 9 p.m. alarm on my phone. And with that, like, I'll get to bed by 10 or 10:30. So the alarm is just telling me, start getting ready for bed. Okay. Another thing that's really important is you need to stay away from all full spectrum light at least like 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. So that's going to be like, as soon as that bedtime alarm goes off, okay, no more cell phone, no more video games, no more TV, because your brain actually sees that full spectrum light and interprets it as daylight. And then your brain asks for more cortisol from your body. Your body gives it more cortisol. Your adrenal gland actually gives it more cortisol to make you feel like it's okay and I'm awake and I'm happy, okay? But this is not how you want to feel at bedtime. You want your melatonin to raise. You want your cortisol to be rock bottom at bedtime. The melatonin is going to comfort you, calm you down, and help you to sleep restfully. Cortisol, on the other hand, does the exact opposite of what melatonin does. So in order to help those hormones naturally go where they need to go, you need to start turning off the full spectrum light a couple hours before bed so that you stop feeding your mind, your brain, it's daytime vibes, okay? And that's the time when it's good to like turn on a lamp, like instead of an overhead light or whatever, just have your lamp on low light and try to like tell your bed that it's time to calm down, it's time to go to bed, okay? Tell your body that it's time to calm down and go to bed. Okay. Also, finish dinner a long time before you go to bed. I'm saying like 3 or 4 hours, okay? So that your body has time to digest fully, before you hop into bed, because digestion is actually a really active thing that your body does. And it also kind of raises the I'm awake and happy hormones. So you don't want to like finish a heavy meal and then go right to bed, or even 2 hours later, go right to bed. Okay. You want to definitely finish your meal and then leave time to relax and digest long before you go to bed. You can also choose restful activities to end your day. So that's going to be something like reading a nice book. I'm not talking like, this is not murder mystery time or time for like a book that gets you all like, those are fun books, but that's not good for right before bed because it gets you a little excited. Like, so I'll tell you an example. A couple of years ago, I was watching, this wasn't a book, but I was watching Orange is the New Black. And the first season was kind of okay, right? And then I think it was like probably the end of the second season or into the third season where I was watching that right before bed, which I told you already, don't watch TV before bed. So I was doing the wrong thing, right? But then also I was watching Orange is the New Black, which gets you riled up. Like there's like murder and like horrible, scary things happening there. People beating each other up and ugh. And it's an awesome show. Like I love it, but I had to stop watching it. I couldn't even watch it during the day anymore. Like it just got me so anxious that like I even like for a while there I was watching it before bed and I got so anxious that I just like I couldn't sleep. Like I was going to bed at that time like around 11 and I wasn't falling asleep till maybe 2 or 3. It was not good. And then once I did fall asleep, it wasn't going well. And it was all because I watched this show that got me all anxious. And it's waking up the wrong hormones. Those are hormones that are telling you to be awake and be vigilant, and that's not the kind of messages that you want to be sending your body at bedtime. You want to be sending your body calming, nice messages. So you can do things like diffuse a nice essential oil like lavender or something like that at bedtime. So you smell that. That's a very relaxing scent. And then maybe gratitude journaling for a little while and reading like a nice relaxing book, like some sort of a like inspirational thing. And so next tip, this is tip number 6, if you're paying attention, if you're keeping track, make the room cool, but not cold and not hot. So extreme temperatures are not good for sleep. I don't know about you, but I am a hot sleeper. And if the room is too warm, I will wake up sweating and be like, and just like really uncomfortable. And then sometimes I'll even go and open the window just a crack. And then I sleep like a dream for the rest of the night. And so I like the room kind of cool. Most people do. And, but definitely not cold, because then you're like shivering in your blankets and you're all like that creates tension too. So that's not good either. So cool so that you can be like nice and snuggly under your warm blanket, but not too hot so that you have to like, you're like sweating, right? Okay. Tip number 7, run a fan or maybe some other sort of a white noise thing. Fans have always worked for me. Even when I was a kid, I used to just wait for summer to happen because I loved running that fan. And I would even like, I don't know, in my mind, I hadn't thought that you could point it away from you or like even point it at the floor like I have now. I have this little fan that I just put face down on the floor and I just use it for the noise. I use it all winter long and I live in Illinois, so it gets cold, but it doesn't like blow air all over the room. It's just like aimed at the floor and like it's just for the noise. It's really nice. When I was a kid though, I hadn't thought about turning the fan a different direction, so it was pointing at me all the time, and then it was making me too cold, and I wasn't sleeping well that way. But live and learn, right? So that really helps. There's also, if you don't want to have a fan blowing, there are apps that you can use, like if you just look in your app store white noise apps. Those are, there's a couple of those, and you might find one that has a nice sound that you can have. But also this, I didn't put this in my blog post, but you might not want to use the app because it's also not that great to have the phone in the same room with you while you're sleeping. It can be a distraction. Even if it's turned off, it can be a distraction. And also, and then if it's turned on and like you're using that as your alarm, well, there's like magnetic disturbances that the phone creates in the area where it is, and that can interfere with your sleep as well. So if you're doing all of these things, but you're still sleeping next to your phone and it's on, maybe you want to try not doing that. So that's a good tip too that I didn't actually make it into the blog post. Okay, and for tip number 8, the last tip for today, don't amp up your brain before bed. So that means like we kind of already covered this with like not reading or watching like anxiety promoting shows or anxiety promoting books, but this is something different. Like, don't do things that you really have to concentrate on and think about right before bed, like budgeting, balancing your checkbook, planning your next day, or like stressful conversations. Like, don't talk to your kids about their bad grades, you know, or like plan their college or their next 3 years or whatever. Like, don't do that kind of stuff that makes you like excited. Even planning a vacation right before bed can be a little too stimulating. Okay, might be something that you enjoy, but don't be doing stuff that's actually stimulating to your brain right before bed, because that's not going to do you any favors when it comes to sleeping. Also, try not to drink anything with caffeine in it after 2 p.m. That does include tea, even green tea, because that's still enough caffeine that, yes, it can affect you 8 hours later when you're trying to go to bed. Okay, so try to avoid that kind of stuff too. All right, so that's it for my tips for today. As always, if you're watching now, if you're watching in the replay, which I'm posting this replay everywhere, so a lot of people are going to watch the replay, please, if you have any comments on this or any questions for me or any arguments that you want to post, please comment in the comments about that, and as always tag me there too, because I don't always see that stuff. And but if you tag me, I will. And I put a link to the blog in the notes, and I also put a link to my scheduling page. If you're feeling like you're ready to start working with somebody, like if you feel like you're getting good tips all over the internet for what to do for your IBS and your Candida and all this stuff, and you want to finally like just get it over with and like find a way to deal with it, listen, I have been through this. I had Candida, I had, in the past tense, I had IBS, I had all of the things. I was tired. I was falling asleep at stoplights, or at least like resting my eyes. I was so tired. I did all of the things. I've been through it, and I tried myself to like piece it together from things that I was finding on the internet. Oh, maybe this supplement is going to work for me. Maybe I need to take these kind of probiotics. And then I found out little things like, oh, you shouldn't be taking probiotics right away. That's going to make stuff worse. Did you know that? Also, like there's certain supplements that you really need, like magnesium. Like everybody needs magnesium. Nobody's getting enough of it because it's just not in the soil because of modern farming practices. And magnesium is one of the biggest things that people are lacking. You know, like magnesium helps us to get rid of tension in our joints, in our muscles, and also in our digestive tract. So lack of magnesium creates constipation. But the opposite is also true. When you have enough magnesium, that helps with moving the poo through and making you not constipated. So so many of these things that you have to put together, and I hate for you to have to put all those things together all on your own without any help, because I can save you so much time. I've been through the whole thing. I can help you just cut corners on your journey and make it take 1 year instead of 3. You know what I'm saying? So please, if you are just ready for that, give me a call. Okay? Just like set up an appointment with me and we'll get together and we'll discuss what we can do for you. Okay? So that's it. I am off my soapbox and I'm going to go pick up my daughter from school real soon. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.